The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're discussing here on the day. So let's jump right into it. Now, a few things I do want to talk about. Now, obviously, we're sitting at local highs here. All-time highs are not very far off when we look at Qs. Qs, your all-time highs basically at 409. SPY, you're basically at 480. We're very, very close to those levels. It's important to say that the action that we're getting here, in my opinion, isn't terrible. Okay, we're still getting a pullback, we're getting a healthy movement to a little bit to the downside, but I still like all in all how this is playing out. We're still definitely trying to form some of these supports, and I think getting a little nice consolidation. It's also worth considering you had OPEX on the day. Everyone's really concerned about what's happening there. Now, if you go to something like Cheddar Flow and we look at what's happening with this data, I don't have any interest, right? This is the highest, orders that we've had. We go to SPY, nothing really interesting here. But where you have to do a lot of the heavy lifting and heavy work is you go into these order flows and these chains, the option chains specifically on SPY and Qs, and you get a lot of answers. So we're going to talk about that today as well. If you have any questions, leave them down below. We're going to jump over all of that, but hopefully we'll get you in and out of here pretty quick within 15 minutes. Let's get to it. Now, I have to ask you two things. Consider liking and subscribing. Helps out tons. Appreciate all love and support. Now, if we're jumping in here, a few things I want to discuss. Nice pullback. Probably some profit taking off the great move that we've had. Now, when I jump into this, and this is where I want to go first, with OPEX and very interesting behavior. Some of the best things that you can do, right? So what is today? Today is the 15th. So you go to the 15th and we look at just some of this overall chain that was here today, right? And things that were expiring. Now, most big buyers, whatever you're talking about, right? They roll those contracts out, especially if they're bullish. You'll roll those out. So when you look at today, the open interest has fallen dramatically from the beginning of the week into now, right, on the OPEX day. Minimal contracts in the money, right, at this time. Right? Only contracts that are in the money are typically, you get these puts now, and a lot of, look at all this really aggressive orders. That's actually crazy, okay? Now you go over to the 19th, which was the first month that you could roll those over into, and we go down. And again, I'm going to go somewhere with this, so bear with me. You scroll down, you see here, all of your in the money positions are on calls, all of them. And that's actually a really juicy one. I hear 6,700 calls bought for the January 19th 450s in the money, very bullish. There's nothing in the money on the put side, nothing, nada, right? If you have anything on the put side, it's all hedges on the out of the money there, okay? You're going to notice the same thing on Qs and go further and further out, and you're going to notice this continues to play out. You go into something like March, you go March 15th, you look here, again, same story, same thing going on. I can already tell you before even looking at it. Majority of these are all going to be on the call side in the money. Put side in the money is minimal. Okay. So in my opinion, what's happening, contracts rolling out, into just more data, letting those profits run as we embark on pushing all-time highs here. Now, I'm going to tell you, just like when we look at stocks, and it's, giving you food for thought, right? For instance, we look at something like LRCX, okay? You broke all-time highs here. You ran, $50 basically. Cool. Look at AVGO. You broke all-time highs. You ran $130. Cool. NVIDIA. You broke, all-time highs back here, and more, and you ran another $100 and plus some, right, to the upside. Cool. You're going to notice a theme. When you get into price discovery at all-time high range, typically a lot of FOMO kicks in, a lot of aggressive buying, a lot of volume, liquidity gets grabbed up. And so I encourage you to just cautiously think, if you're thinking about shorting here, to just saying, one, I'll probably get a good opportunity to short if I need to. Number two, if we break all-time highs, we're probably going to get a nice run. Giving you an idea on Qs. What happened the last time we had an all-time high push, right? Best example really goes back down to 2020 when you look at what happened during COVID. Okay, you dipped, you embarked back on this, you broke all-time highs at basically 237 on Qs, you ran to 248, you retested, and then you went bananas, basically running nonstop until 300. Just saying, you had a little bit of chop there, but still. Now, am I saying you're going to have that crazy of a run? I'm not. But I'm just saying I'm willing to bet having a specific target above all-time highs is a very cloudy area. And I really recommend people really hit the brakes if you're thinking about continuing to try to short this. I've said this for months, but I think it's very dumb, very silly here, especially when you look at the momentum and what's happening with those option contracts as well. Personal opinion. Okay. Now, a few indicators we've been watching, the dollar and yields. So the dollar, you had a decent bounce. You came right down to our key level. Who would have thought? The same level we marked from the previous day as well. You come right down to a 101.7. You bounce right off of it almost to the wick. You're bouncing up right now. Now you're bouncing, and you actually bounced right above the key level we had marked here. Really should come down a little bit deeper, like right there. You mounted, you're pushing back up here. Okay, go down. I'm going to come back here. Yields still very weak, which still point me in the direction that the dollar will continue to drop. The 10-year flatlining is preparing to go down even lower. The 30-year already going lower. This is what you want to see as well. These are all good things across the board for the short-term market on a risk-on metric. This weekend, I will be watching Bitcoin as well. I'm hoping Bitcoin gets some more love to the upside. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, just so you know that as well. Oil saw a decent bounce over the past basically 24 hours, but I don't know if this is going to hold up. We'll have to give you more updates in the next few days, hopefully going into Sunday or Monday. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. Now, big things for this week that I'm watching. IWM. I want to see IWM break above 200. You break him out 200, this thing is going to get spicy. You'll have upside opportunity in like 209, 210, so almost 5% of upside on IWM, and that could come quick. Now, the Dow, DIA, this has been probably the most impressive of all the indexes, continuing to just be impressive across the board. Good candle yesterday, had a little bit of a dip, but bouncing back here as well. Stocks like Boeing are just going bananas. Home Depot going crazy. I mean, all these names are just tough. You go to like XLF also recovering very well also. So those are things you're really liking, okay? Now, equities, stocks I'm liking, okay? Now, if you're in Discord, I'm going to give you a better video going over a lot of these and give you more, deep dive. But off the top, Amazon trying to break out. Nice. Tesla, we mentioned this yesterday, breaking 252, very nice. Jay started calling this out in Discord. You're breaking the downtrend structure trying to mount 252. Mounting 252, I think you have room at like 260-ish, but if you start getting above these, you're getting very, very bullish. The last time we had a downtrend structure similar to this was back here in May. You broke out of that. You broke above 200 SMA, and things got bullish. So I still like what Tesla's doing here. I think you have a lot of opportunity. And the upside play here above 252 is almost too easy. So again, what you're looking for, ideal, break, retest, push up. You kind of already got that on the daily, but hopefully you can get that in the next few days as well if you haven't got the opportunity just yet. Okay, LRCX has done its thing. It might run a little bit further, but again, did its job. Happy with it, killing it. NVIDIA, man, I'm excited here. So NVIDIA, we wanted to mount that 485 level. You did. You hit 494, the next key level. If you can mount 494, I'm very bullish on all-time highs, and I probably will grab a January call. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to grab one. I still think NVIDIA is going to break all-time highs and run, and it probably will have the most impressive run of all of them. It probably won't be more impressive than AVGO, but one can hope and one can pray. But I'm looking for that on NVIDIA. Definitely see that on the horizon. Snow, you started to mount the 200 level, but you got pushed back into it. You mount 200, you're also liking this one as well. You zoom out, very clean chart. Datadog, I'm mentioning this and talking about this a lot on Twitter, okay? I would love to see a retest. You're hoping you can get one to get an entry. But again, here on the daily chart, you zoom out. One of the best looking charts as well. You can see here, clear line in the sand. You hold above this, you're extremely bullish, 119, 120 roughly. That's where you're looking to get entries if possible as well. Okay, so those are my favorite names right now. Microsoft, I mentioned this yesterday as well. You're not loving the action because you just can't get the clear breakout. But when I say entry opportunity upon entry opportunity, I don't know how, this is your previous all-time high. Look at this level, guys. This is probably one of the easiest scalps if you're trying to trade it. I gave you an example here in Discord as well last night. You grab it at 365, the trade makes sense. It simply does, right? Even if you're going back in at 373, the trade makes sense. So risk reward, buying it at 365 is free money in my opinion. The stop losses, it's a trade you have to take over and over. So keep it on your radar as well. Absolutely love it. Very bullish, very strong. Definitely very, very impressive. Everyone's mentioning Alibaba. Again, I don't care about this name, to be honest. Call me crazy. I think it has a lot of potential, but China is just so back and forth. If China actually starts to run, I think Baba could run as well. You do have upside potential into the 200 SMA. But besides that, that's what I'd be looking for there. Not super interested. Okay. This week in particular, I think Apple's interesting. If it gets above 200, I'm curious how far it runs. Me and Jay were talking last night. I think you're probably going to get a run like to 210, 208. Personally, But again, Apple, you're pushing this range, and as long as Apple's at highs, you're pretty bullish. You know what I mean? Netflix. So again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I try to be as transparent as possible, and I'm doing that $3,000 account challenge. And so yesterday we were at 6,600, and like, there's nothing wrong with my risk management here. So hopefully you guys can hear me out. And I also want to point out that stuff happens in the market. And this is why I always say, when you're trading, expect the worst. Expect bad things to happen. Expect bad news to show up. So you're prepared for that at all times. So on Netflix, I think it was up, like overall it was up on this trade like 1,200. And that wasn't even at highs. At highs, I was up big. But like, obviously I'm playing this in the mentality of the breakout. That's where you're going to make all your money. Okay. So what Netflix announced today, just to let you know, it was absolutely brutal. So their earnings were scheduled for the 17th, just to let you know. The 17th of, yeah, you can see right here. The 17th of January or 18th, right? They moved them a week ahead, and I had the January 19th calls. So basically my contracts got extremely devalued because they weren't pricing in earnings anymore. They were a week before earnings, so the IV got destroyed. Tough. It is what it is. I still have that position. I ended up grabbing some more to average down a little bit. I'm going to tell you right now, out of all my charts now, Netflix has become my favorite. If you break 480 on Netflix, I think you run into 500 with ease. I think it hits 500. I don't want to say instantly, but I'm very bullish on Netflix. If you break 480, it's going to be incredible. I'm going to tell you that right now. So that's my viewpoint of the market. That's what I'm looking at. You had a little bit of a hiccup today. I'm kind of annoyed with it, but it is what it is. You can't control it. You just got to, move on, prepare for the next trade. Again, that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, comment down below. I'll be doing some chart requests tonight as well. So make sure you're following on Twitter. Also, too, we have some stuff in the newsletter this week. So if you're interested in Discord or anything, you might want to be paying attention because it will not be following through the whole weekend. You catch my drift. Have a good one, traders.